Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And so for today's video topic, it's gonna be a bit controversial because you know what, there are people on both sides of the fence on this one, but I think that this is something that needs to be said, especially because there's a new raid tier that's out right now. But of course, before I even get into that, I want to say this is a very small portion of the community that actually kind of exudes these traits. This isn't by far the norm. I want to really say that. Most players in this game are very accepting, very understanding, and will be very patient and will help guide new players, because I think that it is rather a very vocal minority that applies to this situation rather than the overwhelming majority, especially when it comes to this kind of topic. So I don't want anyone to look at this video and be like, oh, the entire raiding scene is this way, because it's not. It's absolutely not. I wanted to say that very clearly before I even get started. It's not. It's a very small vocal minority. But being said, a vocal minority that is very vocal, that is very loud, that is very in your face, that is very blah blah blah, and us being people, us being human, it's just natural to be like, oh wow, this negative situation showed up, and the negative kind of is more amplified than the good. It's kind of like, if there's a negative thing that happens and a good thing that happens, there have been psychological studies that have literally proven people will fixate on that negative. And so it does, unfortunately, even though it's a very small portion of the community, it does sadly seem to have a bigger impact than it really should. So the first thing is that about raiding, you are really only accountable to yourself and your team, no one else. And that there are some people that will impose some kind of pressure on you, saying, oh, you have to clear by some date, or be above some percentile, and basically live up to their expectations. And to be honest, that is such a toxic mentality to have, that I definitely know people who have flat out avoided or quit the raid scene, and they were people who were clearing the top end of the raid. They were getting through all 4 of the stages of it, and they were basically shunned because, oh, your damage wasn't above the 80th percentile, and they quit, which is a shame, because honestly they were some of the best people that you could meet. And basically this kind of mentality will eat away at you. It's not something that's just to be blown off and just oh, that doesn't matter. It's actually a really big thing, and it does get to a lot of people. I mean, everyone comes from different backgrounds, everyone has different situations, and I mean, I'm not gonna say everyone's like this, but you know what? I'm pretty sure for most people, if you're getting called out on this, it's gonna give you a little bit of anxiety. It's gonna make you just feel a little uncomfortable, because it's just damn, I cleared Titan Savage, what more do you want from me? It's just oh, I didn't clear 90th percentile, that's what more you want from me. Well, guess that means I'm bad. But that's the thing, that's to someone else's expectation. You still cleared, you still got through the content, and as long as you're having a good time, who cares? That's the biggest thing. And these people do, but who are they to you? Well, they shouldn't be much to you, especially if they're this toxic. But in reality, it's really kind of hard to shift the mentality away from hey, I'm getting all these critiques. Well, it's not even critiques, it's non-constructive criticism, because what are you supposed to do when you have someone say, get good, scrub? I mean, that's not something that you can really build on. And even then, if someone's oh, you must watch this particular guide and you must do this particular rotation, obviously me, as someone that has done so many of these guides, that is active on the Balance Discord, obviously I know these rotations, but it's if you're still clearing something without it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're evil or bad because you didn't use that. Of course, everyone's gonna optimize things. There's gonna be a subset of the community that literally crunches out mathematical numbers. They simulate the numbers. They see exactly what is optimal. Heck, even I have done a little bit of machine learning on it. Specifically, it was Q learning, Sarsa, on a bit of the data. Just reinforcement learning. Nothing crazy, but the fact of the matter is, it's just not realistic or not fair to people to put this kind of weird expectation on them. And that a lot of, especially when there's a new raid tier, a lot of it is about kind of changing your mentality towards it, because you know what? Why do you need to clear everything in the first week or the second week? Or your clear is quote unquote not good enough if you clear after the first month. I think that that's a very, very skewed and kind of broken viewpoint towards this. And I think few things exemplify that further than some of the players' reactions towards when people got the Epic of Alexander clears before some other groups. And then some people would literally go on the attack on like Twitter and other social medias and be like, oh, blah, 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 their clear wasn't valid and all these other things. And it was quite ridiculous, but that's another video that I've been kind of sitting on, and I might redo and re-release because I think that that was a very important turning point of the entire raiding community. But how to even say it? So long as you live your life for someone else, so long as you are worried about other people's expectations, it's just a constant uphill battle. Because you know what? And this is something that I guess has kind of come with age with me. No, there will always be someone prettier, there will be always someone smarter than you, there will always be someone parsing higher than you, there will always be someone clearing faster than you. Oh sure, you might be on the top today, if you are, but are you gonna be in a year? Next expansion, when that hits, say it's even more of a hit than Shadowbringers, are you still gonna be on top? Maybe, maybe not, but you know what, with the way that I've seen it, no. I mean, if you look at some of the top tier raiders from A Realm Reborn, where are they now? Some of them are still here, some of them have quit, some of them aren't even doing raiding anymore, like at all. So it's really, you just gotta change your mindset, really, it's very so important, and just be like, hey, you know what, I'm here for fun. I'm here not to live to your expectations. I'm not here to be a 90th percentile clear or I'm some reason bad. And for the record, 90th percentile means that you are like top tier. Like you're in the top 10% of players who are clearing that content at all. So that means technically if you're 50th percentile, hey, you're in the like 50th percentile of players, and so you're pretty good. And remember, that's of all people clearing. And remember, even clearing content is still clearing content. You're still getting the gear, you're still getting the achievement, you're still getting the mount. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And ultimately, just trying to live your lives by other people's expectations will just lead you into like a dark place. And I can attest to this because, as I said before, I know a lot of people that quit because of this. But let's reel it back. Let's get a little more personal with me. So this expansion, I started out by doing healers. And heck, I can even pull up my FF logs right now. So if you can see from my page that someone else graciously uploaded for me, I apparently have a 94th percentile clear on Titania using White Mage. What can I say? I've healed for a while. And then if you look at my other ones, we have Dancer, 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 Dancer. And you might be like, oh, those percentiles are pretty good. You got orange, meaning that I'm in like the top 5th percentile. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. To me, I like having big numbers because I like knowing I helped the team. That's as far as I care about this. But there are going to be players, say that White Mage one. So when I was doing those clears, I had to focus on healing, I had to focus on DPSing, and like just making sure that everything was going well. When you're healing, you have so many different things to keep track of. So with White Mage, people came to me though saying, oh, you're playing the easy healer. Literally. And now when I have dancers, some people who are looking to criticize me are like, oh wow, that's really nice, you parsed orange on the easiest DPS in the game. And I'm like, I mean, what am I even supposed to say to that? I mean, it might sound coy, but I'm being serious. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? I chose range DPS for a few different reasons. But anyhow, their criticism was that it's easy. Just making sure that that's just really ironclad. But you see, my reasons for choosing to play Dancer are my own. First of all, I really like buffing allies. It makes me feel good when I'm on a team, and then everyone's really happy that I'm around. And when I'm on a Dancer, I'm able to burst with improvisation between my global cooldowns, giving a buff to the healing, which really is a bit noticeable, because I'll just do it between global cooldowns, and then like no uptime is lost. Healers will burst heal, it'll be a massive heal spike to the entire group, then I can use Curing Waltz during burst phases. Likewise, I'm helping out out the entire healers of my party, and I'm offering a lot of utility that way. Meanwhile, my DPS are just like, yeah, you're dancing with me. Yeah, I love the Devilment buff giving me critical hit and direct hit, and I love having that constant boost to my damage, and it just feels so good. Like, I can pull up some of my numbers, and so for some of my runs on Dancer, I just through my DPS buffs was giving about 2,000 more DPS to the entire group just through my buffs. And I love that. I love feeling wanted and respected and all that. Oh, that's not even getting into Shield Samba, reducing the damage by 10% during core mechanics. And see, that feels good to me. Not to mention, whether you're playing a melee DPS or ranged DPS or magic DPS, you want one of every type of DPS in a group. There have been some mathematical debates of, oh, is that really the most efficient? But when push comes to shove, fact is you want one of every type of DPS. One melee, one ranged magical, and then you want one ranged physical. So, really, someone in a raid group will need to satisfy that requirement. But further from that, I like the playstyle more. I like being able to move around the battlefield like Tracer from Overwatch. I love when I'm able to, how do you say it? Just like maneuver around. I like how the rotation is very dynamic. I'm very sick of using muscle memory at this point because I have, even with healers, a lot of it felt kind of muscle memory-ish, because Scholar, back when they actually had a kit, that's an upcoming video, trust me, it would be like, okay, I use this dot, then I use this dot, then I'd use this and that, and it was very mechanical. Heck, yes, even as a healer, it was a little bit mechanical. And so, for me, I really like how erratic and sporadic the Dancer is. On the flip side, I don't like the Bard because I feel that it's a little bit too much of a flight control dash for me. But at the same point in time, when I get someone giving me these critiques, they don't look at any of that context. They're just like, oh, it's easy, so of course you're parsing high. And then I'm like, okay, then why isn't everyone parsing at this percentile? And then I never get a response back, and it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, if it was so easy, why don't you swap to it? Never get an answer back. And then, I mean, it also comes down to the fact that different people will resonate with different playstyles. Like, I have obviously leveled the Monk. I have obviously played the Monk in raids. But on the flip side, I don't enjoy it. Like, flat out, I'm gonna tell you, I don't enjoy it. I don't find it fun. And it's annoying and frustrating to me to play the Monk. There is a reason why you don't have an Ultimate Monk guide coming out, because I flat out don't like it. I don't play it and I don't want to master it. It's not something I enjoy. But then you're gonna have critics come to me and be like, oh, well, you're only not playing the Monk because you're bad at it. And I am like, what? I mean, I've been like playing healer since Realm Reborn, and I just like ranged classes more. I just have never really, in all of my MMORPG career, kind of like played melee. I mean, yeah, sure, I did tanks, and that was okay, but like in general, I feel more at home at a ranged caster. That hasn't changed since RuneScape when I was doing magic and ranged builds. That hasn't changed from like Ion Online where I was a spirit master. That hasn't changed at all. It's been pretty consistent. Because I'm not playing a Monk, I'm not a real player. And I'm like, what? Heck, I'm even busting out my Samurai, so I don't know. But Samurai is apparently also easy. So I mean, even for myself, I find myself at this dilemma of, how to say it, me, myself, and I did clear Titan Savage last time, where I'm not good enough because I didn't clear the Epic of Alexander, because I have no interest in that content, and honestly, I find those weapons hideous. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. I find them tacky and overdone. But people are gonna come to me and be like, oh, well, you still could. Well, why would I spend the time on something for something that I don't like? I really don't like it. I've looked at the Dancer weapon and I far prefer the Shinryu ones that we just got. And so it's just like, why would I go back? I don't want to spend that time, and I want to spend it with friends. And it's just like, I don't want to, like, with my raid group, I'm with people that I like being around. I'm with people that I respect, that respect me. Where, you know what, if someone's feeling down like me a little while ago, then like they'll honestly like help support me, and like if I have something going crazy at work, they'll be like, oh, okay, you can take the night off. And I like that. I like having a group of people that I'm around. And you know what, if no one wants to do the Epic of Alexander, then I don't want to do the Epic of Alexander. And so I'm put in a situation where I am judged also as a content creator that obviously knows something, where it's just like, oh, because I didn't clear this particular content, oh, because I'm playing Dancer right now, I'm bad. And I mean, for me, like, water off a duck's back, like, whatever, call me bad. Like, I have literally not even started this channel for a bragging thing. I did it just because, like, heck, I spent so much time theory crafting and, like, in balanced discords, and I've played for so long that it's, like, I find it fun to, like, talk about it. But even I've fallen prey to this sometimes. And you know what? Some days when I'm like feeling really down, really anxious, I'm like, damn, I really don't know what I'm meant to say, right? And it's just like, ultimately, you can't make everyone happy. And I think that that's the main thing. It's just like, and that's something that I had to accept actually years and years ago, like completely unrelated to gaming. Is it's just like, there will be people in your life who will want to control you. They'll want to control what you say. They'll want to control what you think. They will want to control every aspect of you. And there's going to be a lot of people. And the one way that person X wants to control you is going to be different than how person Y wants to control you. And they will conflict. And it's just too much. You need to really live your life for yourself. And especially in a game, like, it's a game, and so whenever someone's just like, oh, blah blah blah, you're bad and should feel bad, it just blows me away. But again, this is a minority. Like, I have been raiding now for a while, and it is truly the minority of players that do this. And it's just, they're just very vocal though, and it does stand out. Like, if you're having a bad day and you have someone going right up to your face and being like, oh, you're bad, I mean, that's gonna feel bad. But it's just like, heck, let's pull up my parses again for like trials. Like, it's just like my best perfect average on FF logs is 92.7. I don't even know what that means. My medium perfect average is a little lower. Okay, so I took some time to learn. But then I look at my all-star points, and then my dancer is in the pink. The pink for parses. And so what that means, as far as I've been told, because I didn't really care to know before, is apparently that's really, really decent. And then for Machinist, I'm parsing in the orange. So likewise, going off of their normal color scheme, that's also pretty good. And then for Bard, I'm parsing in the purple, which again, pretty good. It's not like I'm blues and grays, and yet because I'm playing ranged DPS, apparently I'm bad. Dude, you'll never make everyone happy. Like, ever, 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 ever. You will never, ever, 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 ever make everyone happy. It's just not possible. So all I can really end this video on is, like, with the new raid tier, play for yourself. Play for fun. Don't let others' expectations tell you what to do, what to not do, how you should feel about this, how you should feel with that. Oh, quote unquote, your raid group isn't clearing in the first month, you're trash. Okay, bye, Felicia. Like, who seriously cares? It's just like last raid tier, if you got that gear in the first week, in the first month, in the second month, all of that gear's gone. All of it. Don't tell me that we're still raiding with that, because if you're a hardcore raider, then you should have pentamelded all of your gear. And I mean, so I don't get it. It's not me trying to be coy, it's not me trying to be vicious, but it's just like, there are too many people with their own erratic expectations. And again, minority of people, but very vocal minority. And you gotta live it for yourself. At the end of the day, this is a game, you're doing it for fun, and you should be around people that like reinforce how you feel and really just make you feel good and really happy. Like, with me, when I go raiding, I feel good during the raid. I feel good at the end of the raid. I'm playing something I enjoy playing, I'm buffing my teammates, making them happy, I'm helping my healers out, making them happy, and I feel like I'm really contributing, and I'm helping them as friends, as people who have supported me, and people I've supported. And you know what? That feels good. And that's why I raid. I don't raid for some ridiculous contest of, oh, my damage numbers are better than yours. Or,
My class is harder than yours. I'm a monk.
I don't care. And I mean, that sounds so coy, but it's like, for real. Like, people are coming up to me with this, and it's like,
Oh, the monk is the best DPS. And if you're not playing the monk, you're trash.
and I'm like, dude, like, whatever. I can't even right now, but literally. But you gotta just do it for yourself. So, takeaways from this video. First of all, surround yourself with people that you like, that support you. That's the #1 thing. Second of all, play what you want to play. If you want to play a dancer, heck, I'm playing a dancer. Just because the playstyle fits me. And you know what? If that doesn't fit you and the monk fits you, hey, hallelujah for that. I mean, enjoy. Play what you want to play. Whether that be healers, tanks, DPS, melee DPS, ranged magic DPS, summoners, etc. Do what you want. And third of all, I'd say I don't think that it's good to just go into an echo chamber or silo yourself off of everyone. But you know what? Just ignore some of these hateful people, because you know what? That's ultimately what it boils down to. There's a lot of hateful people out there, and there's a lot of people that want to control you. And you know what? They aren't worth your time. They aren't. I mean, in this aspect, I mean, of course, I'm not trying to generalize a person based on one thing, but you know what? If someone's coming at me and they're just like, oh, this, and this, it's just like, what do you want me to say? I have all the time in the world for people that love me. All the time in the world. All of it. I literally just this morning was like helping so many people out, and it's like, I have all the time in the world for you if you love me. But you know, if all you're gonna do is throw vitriol at me, no. And I wish that more people would just be like, hey, you know what? Rather than let this nasty person who's like coming at me and ripping me down get the better of me, no, I'm not gonna let them. And I guess that's kind of the point of this video. You do you, and you know what? Don't let anyone else take that away from you. Don't let anyone else take that away from you. Because you know what? Each of us are individuals, and each of us have something to bring to the table. And sure, maybe you're not the best tank in the world, or sure, maybe you're not the best healer in the world, but you know what? Maybe you make people around you happy. And you know what? Remember that with this is a group activity. We are not playing a solo game here. We are playing it in a group of people. And you know what? Morale is huge. If you're like able to bring up good jokes, you're making people laugh in your group, who cares if you parse gray? And I'm just gonna say it, who cares? If you're still clearing, you're parsing gray, but you're making everyone happy, you're still making people happy. Don't discredit that. I mean, truly, I think that of anything, we need to remember this is an MMORPG. This is not a single player experience. If you want that, there's tons of different single player games. But for us, this is a game about like socializing and being around people and like really being kind of enjoyable and fun to be around. It's not meant to be this siloed number crunch. And I think that a lot of people lose track of that and lose sight of it, I mean. Anyhow, that is all for this video. I have went way over time because I think that this is a topic that is just so sensitive and so important to say. Because it's like, even in one of my Cinder groups, Cinder Drift Extreme, the Ruby weapon, it was like there were people going at each other's throats, and I was like, whoa, what the heck's going on here? So I know it's long, I know it's a lot, but I felt that needed to be said. You do you, and you know what? If you're having fun, screw anyone else. Anyhow, that's all for this video. Oh, as always, likes and subscribes are super appreciated. I did see that we got past 1K, and I am blown away. Yeah, like, for real. Anyhow, that is a separate video. This one's long enough. Take care and see you next time.